Hey everyone, CPM here. Welcome back to my channel. We're at the end of May now, so that means in a couple of days we're going to see the new releases from the Royal Canadian Mint. So for today's video, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So for those of you that are coming back to watch my videos again, I sincerely appreciate it. For all of you that are joining me for the first time, just wanted to let you know that I do a monthly release video on just the new coins coming out from Royal Canadian Mint. So if you enjoy content like this, please consider subscribing. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So on the RCM website, we're going to go straight to the new releases. You may be wondering, why am I doing this video? I am part of the Masters Club member from Royal Canadian Mint. For those of you that doesn't know, the club, the membership, it's not really a membership, but for the club itself, it are divided into tiers, and for every tier, member gets to see the new product releases more in advance, depending on which level they're in. I think the highest level has like at least a week in advance notice. So for my, I only have a few days, not really a high tier member by any means, but I just wanted to be able to share this for those of you who are casual collectors and doesn't really have a membership on the site, which is completely fine. But I just want to be able to share this benefit with the rest of the YouTube community. So let's just go ahead and take a look. So we have 6 coins right here. First one has to do with the Canadian $2 coin. We'll take a look at that. It's actually the second, I guess, the $2 coin that was released this year. Again, we'll take a look at that in just a bit. So we have the second coin here is a silver coin, a 10 ouncer. That's going to be a very hefty coin. The next two are somewhat related, a silver coin for Maple Leaf, and then we have a gold one. Very interesting design. And then the fourth coin is a 5-ounce silver coin. I think it will illuminate in the dark. And the last one, the sixth one, is a 5.9 pure gold coin. I think that's worth taking a look at. So let's take a look at the very first one. Let me flip over to the next tab, the $2 coin. So if you have the Masters Club membership, earlier, I think last month or the month before, we actually had a $2 coin release as well. That one is a 2-ouncer. This one is a single ounce silver coin. This one, how is this one different from that besides the weight itself? It also includes an original $2 banknote from way back. If you read through the description, this particular banknote, how it actually differs from the other $2. Well, first of all, the $2 banknote is no longer in circulations. The time that in Canada, 25 years ago, when they released the toonie, the actual coin itself, they had replaced the banknote on the same year. So we don't have the $2 banknote anymore. So, I think that's a bit of a history in case that you're curious. But how is this banknote different from the banknote from before? These banknotes have been sitting in the vault, or at least in the government vault, for the past 25 years. And they have special serial numbers that start with BRX. BRX on a banknote, it just means that it's a replacement note. So let's say if you have a banknote that starts with the number 123, and during the printing process, for whatever reason, maybe it was damaged or it didn't print properly, they're not going to reprint that particular note. Instead, they have a backup note which start with BRX 123, and that BRX 123 can then be used in the public. So I think that was just an interesting thing to know. So for this particular coin, or at least this release, it's the same. It's a very similar design. We have our toonie with our polar bear. That's centerpiece. In the actual $2 coin, it is a bimetal, so it's a 2 metal composition that was kind of struck together. so that in the middle, and then there's an outer rim. But this is just a silver coin that are plated individually at the rim and the centerpiece as well. So we have the gold plated in the center and the gold plated on the rim itself. So I think this one is very good looking coin. On the overside, we have the Queen's effigy. It denotes the 1996 to 2021, marks that 25-year anniversary for the introduction of our toonie. So some people may say, hey, why is it called a toonie? So in Canada, the $1 is called a loonie, $2 is called a toonie. So that's kind of where it came from. The presentation box looks kind of decent. It has the holder for the coin and then the capsule for the banknote on the right hand side. All right, so let's take a look at the next coin. Actually, I pulled up this tab just to kind of show you the difference between the early releases. This year we have the 2-ounce silver coin that commemorate the 25th anniversary for the $2 coin. It looks like this. It's very similar to the one that we just saw, right? So polar bear looking to the right, polar bear looking to the right. It's a different design on the polar bear, but I still like the 2-ouncer one way better. Anyways, let's not dwell on that. Let's move on to the next coin. So the next coin is the 10-ounce silver coin that shows the Canada's provincial and territorial flags. So most of the provinces are at the bottom. We have the territories up north. Each of these provinces and territory have their provincial or territorial flags. So I think I mentioned this before in my previous videos. For any coins that are large in size, 5-ounce, 10-ounce, what it allows the collector to have is, because there's a lot more surface area, the design of the design that is on the coin are a lot easier to see. So I mean, the fact that you can actually see all the flags in that much detail, it just means that you don't need to use a magnifying glass to look at the coin. So, and I think that is an awesome thing to do. So if you are able to own this coin, this 10-ounce silver coin, I think it will be a tremendous thing to have. So the color area is just the flags. Not sure if you guys want to see any particular flags. So the Montreal flag, the Ontario flag, and we have a bison for the Winnipeg flag. I'm not singling any of the provinces out, but I'm just kind of looking at this in more detail. So hope you like the look of this. And because it's a 10-ouncer, it has a denomination of 100 Canadian dollars. So I think that's pretty neat. On the overside, obviously, our Queen's effigy. And I'm pretty sure the box is going to be pretty big too. Again, nothing, very obvious fact. So at the time of this video, 89% of the coins have been sold out already. So if you like things like this, especially big 10-ouncers, I think this would be a pretty cool one to own. All right, let's move on to the next coin. So this one is actually, this maple leaf silver coin wasn't released this year. This was actually a 2020. This one leads into the next coin that I want to talk about. This was one of my favorite coin that came out in the year 2020. Two cool feature about this is, one, rhodium plated. That's the very obvious thing. The other thing, that the key feature here is the double incused design. So incuse means that it's something that's stamped onto the coin. So there is depth. So if you put your finger on this, you'll feel the dent, the depth to the maple leaf that's below the regular surface of the coin. So I think this is pretty neat. The Incuse coin 2020 wasn't the very first year. The very first year that came out was 2018. And since 2018, I think every year there is an Incused coin. So this one kind of paves into this year the silver coin and the gold coin. The biggest difference here is the depth of this Incuse coins. The typical Incuse depth, we're looking at about 0.3 millimeter. So it's very, very light. If you put your finger on it, if you look at it closely, for sure you can feel it, you can see it. But this one makes it even more obvious because the Incuse depth here is actually 1.5 millimeter. So the coin itself is already not that thick. Imagine that it's 1 centimeter, 1.5 centimeters. So this is about 5 times the original depth compared to last year's double Incused silver maple and the gold maple leaf. So I think this one, again, it's already sold out. By that fact, we know that this is going to be a special coin. So if you want this, you probably need to go onto secondary market places like eBay, perhaps Craigslist if you can find it there. There's going to be a premium, that's for sure. Plus, this year is the 25-year anniversary for the arboreal emblem for the maple leaves, which is the flag. It's not the flag, but it is on our national flag. So there is also some significance to that laser engraving right there. But if we take a closer look at the Incused area on the coin, I think it's pretty magnificent. And if I am just going to guess, and I'm by no means a guru on how coins are made, but if you look at the edge of the maple leaves, if you look at really closely, you can kind of see, I feel like it's probably drilled out by a very fine tip drill, which allows I think the second step was to actually make the stamp itself. So it's going to be very accurate. If drilling is to come first, the stamp that comes in afterwards will have to be able to fit into the drilled area very accurately. Otherwise, the stamping process would not be as clean as this. Because you can see the vein on the leaves. You can see those, I guess, all the dimples and the grooves behind the veins. So there's a lot of details within this Incused coin. Right, just take a moment here to stare at this coin a little bit more. And just because it has a depth to it, a lot deeper groove to the coin, I would suspect that when the light goes over the coin at a different angle, you're gonna see shadows within the Incused area, and I think that would make the contrast to the design much more obvious, and I think that would look pretty cool. All right, so on the other side, we don't really have. I don't know if this is Incused. I don't think so. Yeah. Last year's double Incused silver maple leaf and the gold maple leaf, both sides are Incused. So the queen's effigy herself is also, there's a bit of depth to that design as well. But this year, I don't think this is that. It's a modified reverse proof. So that means the backgrounds are frosted and the foreground is also slightly frosted as well, but it's definitely on the shiny side of things. Let's take a look at the gold one. The gold one is a 2-ouncer instead of a 1 ounce. I really like this depth. Everyone knows that the gold, when you compare the density of gold versus silver, gold is always a lot denser. So that means the coin itself is going to be a lot smaller. It's significant enough for you to see it when you compare them side by side, 1 ounce to another ounce. So I suspect that if this was an 1 ounce gold coin, when they do the Super Incuse stamp, I think that might have just punctured the coin itself. So having a 2 ounce coin, gold coin, gives that much more depth for this type of Incuse engineering to happen. So I think that might be the reason why this is a 2 ouncer and not a 1 ounce. So I think this one looks really good as well. Again, very, very, very expensive. We're looking at upwards of seven and a quarter $1,000. All right. So definitely, if you're a Maple Leaf fan, not necessarily the hockey team, but just gold and silver Maple Leaves, if you are into that, this would be something that you want to collect. All right, let's take a look at this in more detail. Remember, gold is a very soft metal, similar to, I would say it's softer than silver. So for them to drill and stamp like this, you have to have enough metal in place for the incuse to happen. All right, let's keep moving on. The next one is a 5-ounce silver coin that depicts the solar system. So all the planets that we see, the sun in the design as well. So let's take a look. It's interesting that so we have this circular container with the painted area. It's not centered on the coin, and I think there must be a reason for it. I'm going to imagine that all the planet circles around the sun is not always in a perfect symmetrical circle, so that's why it's a little bit off center, actually very off center. But anyway, I think that's probably one of the unique part of itself. In the background of the coin, you can see that there are more stars and planetary grids. So that looks very, very neat for the background. And then you can see all the planets. And it's probably printed by some kind of a machine, but the detail is just so immense. Let's take a look at a different angle. So if I am to guess, I think I mentioned this earlier, this release of this product does come with a black light. So with the black light flashing on the surface of the coin, it may reveal other details as well. So I think the illumination will probably be on the surface of the sun when everything darkens. So let's take a look at the video. I think that's probably what you are here to see. So we can see lights. So this part is the dark light. So like I kind of guess the surface of the sun will be the one that's actually illuminating. It looks really, really nice actually. The stars in the background reflects with the black light. So are the grids. This one looks fantastic. So if you're into coins like this, a 5-ouncer, definitely a hefty one, get them. I think it's definitely worth the collection. All right, so let's move on to the last coin. The last coin is a gold coin with the purity of 99.999. That's 5 nines. Last year in 2020, you may have seen this, you may not have seen this. So this one is the Canadian Wildlife Portraits. Last year was the grizzly bear. Can't really remember the year before on what the animal was. I might just put a text in the middle of the screen just to kind of show you what that is. But for the 2020, we have the grizzly bear. For the year 2021, we have the Caribou. Mintage is exactly the same, 450 coins only, meaning it might sell pretty fast, it might not. Last year is still available if you want to buy it. It's definitely on the expensive side. So we're looking at like $4,500. And then this year, the exact same price. I suspect it's not going to sell quickly since last year is still available. So if I would think that you probably want to collect the first one, so that you will probably continue to collect the same portrait series. I think that would make sense. So we have 2 caribous on the surface of the coin, very majestic. I'm not sure if you have seen them in person. I have seen them in person. And so this kind of reminds me of my trip to Calgary. In the wildlife, you could definitely see caribous roaming around. And then we have a smaller caribou in the further background. I think they're just walking on some grass and rocks. And then we have if I'm gonna guess, it's probably the Rockies in the background for the design. And then we have the clouds in the sky. And the antler, it's also very detailed. The image is super, super sharp. Oops, you can see the eye. See the fur on the back. It's such a beautiful coin. And on the overside, we have Queen's Effigy herself, the 5 nines for the purity, fine gold, $350 only for the denomination. And I think that's pretty much it. Fun fact, Canada was the very first mint in around the world that started with the 5-9 purity. So something to be proud of for us Canadians. That's about it, actually. So we have the 6 coin release for this year. If you can get your hands on any one of these, and I think they are very worthwhile for your collection. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Cheers, bye.